This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hi, I'm Elise Morales.
And I'm Millie Tamaris.
And this is
Go Touch Grass,
the podcast where we log in
so you can log off.
Millie and I are two chronically online comedians, and on this pod, we break down the week in internet discourse, viral memes, TikTok trends, and niche influencer drama so that you can go do literally anything else with your time.
And if you like what you hear today and want to hear more, we've got a Go Touch Grass Patreon already up and running with tons more content, weekly access to our Discord community, which is popping, and our spin-off series Search History, where we go back and break down a viral discourse from the past. This week, we just released Gatesgate, where we read portions of the White House ethic report on former Florida Congressman and renowned asshole Matt Gaetz.
Yeah.
Jess, it turns out if you allegedly used campaign funds to pay for Molly, cocaine, underage sex workers through your homeboy seeking arrangement profile, you probably shouldn't be Attorney General.
Who'd have thunk? Who'd have thunk?
Who'd have thunk?
You can find out all of that information on our Patreon and see our whole back catalog.
Yeah,
and
we have a big back catalog.
We do. We both have a big back catalog. Latinas.
Yeah, baby. Okay. And if you want to know every weird Mormon woman who may be
posting
through it, we have an episode.
We have an episode about that. I think right now our $10 patrons are going to get to vote on our next search history, which I will be taking on. So,
any ideas, any thoughts, any insights? Because last time I did makeup grifters.
Yeah,
I did Jeffree Star, Michaela Najero. But
I put up a poll for either James Charles versus Tati Westbrook, which was a makeup influencer drama between two makeup influencers.
I can't believe we haven't covered Hey Sister yet.
No, and then I've also got the Numa guy, one of the first large viral videos. And then I thought the rise and fall of Vine. Given some of what we're going to talk about today, I thought the rise and fall of Vine would be an interesting topic. So those $10 patrons, you can go vote on which of those three will be our next search history.
Yeah, those who ignore history tend to repeat it.
Exactly. And guys, don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating and review. We love reviews. We need to hear more of them, but really the best review is for you to tell your friends about the podcast. Tag us in a little story. We'll repost it. We're online.
We're always online. That's the point of the show. And don't forget, now we're on YouTube.
Wow.
So just just search for Go Touch Grass Pod on YouTube, and you'll find full video recordings for our last 2 episodes there. We have all of our audio recordings with just a picture there too. If you've already listened to those episodes, think of YouTube as a director's cut of Go Touch Grass. You'll get extended scenes. You're getting bloopers. You're getting behind the scenes extra of me telling Tino to be quiet. It'll be there every Saturday. Like I said, Elise edits the audio. I edit the video. Lisa's very particular, very polished. I let the mess in.
Yeah.
I let the mess in. You call me Marie Kondo. I love mess. I love mess.
So that's what you're going to find
on YouTube.
And we're so excited to be over there. And now,
Finally,
we have a very special guest joining us today.
Extremely special.
Our first guest of 2025. Our first guest in our new studio.
This
is a dear old friend of the pod who you've seen on Netflix and off-Broadway, honey, with his hit solo show, Less Lonely, produced by Elliot Page, by the way.
BT Dubs.
He's written for Our Flag Means Death, Tuca and Birdie, and was named one of JFL's 2021 New Faces of Comedy when JFL still was
back
up and
when
running.
JFL was relevant.
Still, back when it happened, and it was still
when
popping. And in that voice that you just heard, it's Jess Tom.
Woo! Jess.
Thanks for having me.
Wow, welcome. How does it feel to be our first guest of 2025?
I want to say I feel a lot of pressure because this is the best things are going to be.
Wow.
Yeah, actually,
not because of me, but just at large.
That's so true that you are our last guest before Trump takes
the last guest of the Biden administration.
The last Biden admin guest. That is so true and so dark.
And it's so interesting because now I've been watching The Good Wife, and it's interesting. I know, because watching media and stuff through the Obama goggles, and then how things have turned.
Oh, we didn't know a thing.
We didn't know anything.
We didn't have a clue. We were dancing and singing.
We were dancing and singing, and then Trump came, and then Biden. So I'm very curious to see how media has changed during the Biden administration, and now that we're going back to Trump, I'm just very curious. But Jess, talk to us. Jess, You are very online. You're very online too, which makes you a perfect guest.
Thank you.
But you're in many niches that me and Elise aren't touching, and I'm curious to hear.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was thinking about this because I listened to a couple of episodes yesterday.
Wow, and you're like,
You know,
why
I
am
like
I
to
doing
do my
That sets you
this?
apart.
research. I
Yeah,
like
that
to
sets
be
you apart
fair.
because people are like, what's a grasshole?
Well,
So,
I literally realized I was like, oh, I am terminally online, but I don't know like any of the stuff you're talking about. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm not on TikTok. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
So then I was like, oh my God, what am I looking at?
No,
Like, what am I spending
exactly.
12 hours a day looking at?
but the thing about the internet is that it's so vast
Yes.
that it's like you can be online and be given something completely different. So talk to us about your FYP, which is your For You pages. Like, what is the algorithm serving you? What's going on?
You know what I realized, like really thinking about it, I was like, what am I looking at online? And I think it's porn.
Wow.
I-
Okay, well that's the
Honestly,
thing.
that's the most pure.
That's the most
That's
pure
the most
thing.
pure back to the internet's roots thing.
Just the
you could
carnal,
possibly-
primal, yeah, the
Can I-
original purpose of the internet.
Can I say in Florida, you want to go watch porn, you got to scan your ID. You got to scan your ID to watch Pornhub and YouPorn. Not that I know, not that I've checked.
But,
Oh,
When I
but
was
for
visiting
research for the
family.
podcast.
For research for the podcast,
Naturally.
you have to scan your ID to go look at porn. So that's just fucked
Did
up.
you do it?
No, I went on a different site.
Oh, hell.
You
I went on
VPN'd it?
I didn't VPN. I didn't VPN. My phone has an STD right now for all the weird things. Like I am chatting to singles in my area. No, I'm kidding.
Absolutely. Senior women,
Yeah,
horny old seniors in your area. Wait,
it's
'cause-
like fuck ugly girls, and I'm like, I'm trying to do that right now, but you won't let me. I mean, fucking myself. I don't know if that joke was. I don't think I'm ugly though. Guys.
No, you're beautiful.
And
We're
give
all-
that straight
we're all
to
beautiful
camera,
girls
Millie.
here.
I know I'm not ugly. That was the joke about it. Anyway, okay, so porn. Okay,
Because I'm on. I've been trying to
We're
be
gonna
on
get
Blue
kicked off
Sky these
YouTube.
days.
oh, Blue Skies. It's tough.
And Blue Sky, it's tough.
It's tough.
And because it seems like there's like two niches like to getting big on Blue Sky, it's like either you're like you're like a white jacked gay guy posting
Yeah.
full on cock.
Yeah. I've
Or
seen that.
you're like a sassy Substack writer.
Yeah, I
like
feel like
those-
it's
that's what you can
library
be.
content.
Yes.
It's a lot of like, get your Libby, like
Yes.
ways to hack Libby to get the
Yes.
most audiobooks in one day or cock. It's very, very interesting.
See, this is really gonna play into what we're talking about today because I am developing a theory that I don't think all of these like replacement social media sites, you can never replicate the other sites' riz.
No.
Like you
No.
can never
No.
like Elon Musk fucked up Twitter. It's all fucked up now. It's not as good as what it once was. But none of these other girls who have come out here, Threads, Blue Sky, none of them have gotten
They
the
don't got
magic
it.
of it.
There's no way to replace Rihanna going good luck booking that stage. You
Exactly.
There's
Yeah,
no way.
yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
No
we'll
one's
get
found
it new. We'll get it different. And I did want to ask you, like, if you're ever in Asian American internet spaces and Twitter, because there is iconically somebody. I don't know if this hit your thing of the Asian American person. I think he was Korean American who got hypnosis to not like white men anymore.
Oh, really?
Oh,
No, I don't know about that.
Oh,
And
you
that
don't-
sounds like something I should know.
Yeah, that's what
Wait, and where can I get that?
Okay, well, I have to.
No,
send
do you
that.
see the way I just
I
perked
know. I'm
up?
like just.
I was like, no, there's hope. Like,
Yeah, like,
there's
oh my
hope for
God.
my life.
Yeah, like he was
I
the
can
main
do something.
character. Yeah.
Yeah, and what you're asking isn't for the video. What you're asking is for
No,
the
no, the
information of the
service.
of the
service.
hypnotist
Yeah.
to get you. You're like,
I need
I'm
that
sick.
thing, you know, where the hypnotist makes it so the cigarette turns into a worm every time you put it in your mouth.
Yeah. I think the
White
guy got
penis.
that for white men because he's
Yeah.
like, I'm trying to decolonize
Oh my
my
God.
sex drive
No, I
and
was.
not like white men anymore. And then of course he got roasted on Twitter for days.
Well, he
um,
shouldn't have said that publicly.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the conceit of the show. Jess.
And we're glad that he did, but I do agree that at the end of the day, if you're getting hypnosis to not like white guys anymore, maybe you just maybe you just keep it in the group chat. Maybe you just tell your friends, hey, today's the day I'm getting my hypnosis.
I need to know everything about this. I was literally going to use the excuse of only seeing gay stuff, and now I'm seeing this is how bad the algorithms have gotten.
Wow.
That I was not served this when that is content directly for me.
I know, I'm kind of disappointed. And when I'm talking about like hip, cool, Asian guy, I'm telling like the tattoos are red. You know what I'm saying? Like that genre, it's giving red tattoos, hypersigilism, like tattoos.
Red and black only.
Yeah. So I'm really surprised, but you know what? That's what we're doing important work here.
We're doing important.
Jess, you gotta know about the Korean American guy.
And our work is only getting more important as we get into what we're discussing today, because you said you're not on TikTok. I bet the TikTok algorithm would have known to show it to you.
Yeah, the TikTok algo would have known, because
that new oil, that gold that is the TikTok algorithm. I bet it would have known.
I'm like really like maybe I sign on to TikTok every like 2 months. Like I'm really not on there.
It hasn't gotten to know your shadow.
But I pride myself in remaining totally obscure to the TikTok algorithm.
Unknowable to TikTok.
Yes, I'm like, you don't like. I let it show me videos of white women pouring spaghetti out over their marble countertops, which I mean, really hate.
Yeah.
I really hate that, but I'm like,
but it doesn't matter if you hate it. You'll watch it, and that's what TikTok is. They know that you'll watch the whole thing from the beginning to the end, and that's what everyone's afraid of.
Well, that's what I say, is that it knows your shadow.
It knows that you're going to watch the whole... Like, whether you hate it or not, it doesn't matter. Are you going to watch the whole thing?
For me.
You're going to watch the whole thing. You want to see, and you want to see if it stains. And honestly, spaghetti is... Because I'm seeing nachos on the marbled countertop.
Wow, okay. It's feeling racialized.
I'm saying not. Listen, okay? Listen.
Okay, we're going to get into like literally all of this, but I do want to ask you one more question about your work.
Yeah.
Before we dive.
Let's get to know Jess, the artist.
Get to know Jess's art. So we saw your solo show at the Cherry Lane Theater. I think like was it the premiere?
It was something. It was a big night.
It was one of the fancy.
Anybody in queer comedy.
Yeah, everybody.
And Millie and Elise. Well, a lot of people think I'm queer because I did get blocked by Randy Rainbow that special day.
I mean, it doesn't take much.
But for our listeners, tell them a little bit about the show, your process of creating the show. How did you get linked up with Elliot Page? How did it eventually become an off-Broadway production? Give us like the quick synopsis of how that show
and what is Less Lonely.
Okay, Less Lonely was my off-Broadway show. I did it first at Cherry Lane a couple years ago, and then last year at Greenwich House Theater.
We saw it at Cherry Lane, I believe.
No, we didn't. We saw it in the Greenwich House Theater.
In the Red Circle.
Wait, okay, the Red Circle. We saw the Red Circle. Then I got it wrong.
You saw the cool one. You saw the good one.
Yeah, it was so cool. It
Thank
really
you.
like pushed the limits of like what I feel like stand-up could be.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't so stand-up, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I remember the visual for everyone listening at home, Jess on stage, but there was like a very cool red dot background that was very striking.
It was a red dot optical illusion where if you looked at it from a certain angle, it was a perfect circle. And then if you moved, it like...
Yes.
I don't know.
And it did do stuff, and there was, because we smoked a little weed before we came.
Naturally.
We're not gonna not.
And there was a point where the dot was doing stuff, and I was like, "Am I too high?"
That's me basically. Like at a lot of things, I'm like, did I get too high for this experience?
Yeah, I was like, "Is this my chronic incurable dry eye doing something for me? Am I high?"
It's been a while since you mentioned it on the pod. Your chronic incurable dry eye.
Well, I've been really doing a lot of the different things that I need to do to keep it.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
So
I've got it unlocked. But let's talk about just the show. You had this dot, and then there was a show.
Go, Jess. Sorry, we need to leave more space for our guests.
Less Lonely was it was born out of like a year of touring the stand-up show and trying to kind of figure out what it was and how to move it into a theater space. As far as like me and Elliot, that was kind of just trans magic. Like I met him. It was like before he transitioned, he was this celebrity who I've always looked up to my whole entire life.
Yeah.
And that was very distant and lived a really far away life from me. and then he transitioned, and then we knew each other.
And that's how it happens.
It is kind of how it goes.
Kind of reminds me of when I studied abroad in like a small city in Japan, and I would go out to a bar, and this girl's like, "Do you know Amber?" And Amber was like the only other black woman in that whole town.
But did you know her?
But I did know her.
Yes.
Well, at first I was like, well, why would I know Amber? And I'm like, actually, like me and Amber are still friends.
Actually, Amber and I are gonna create a lifelong bond.
Yeah, but it's exactly the thing of like, yeah,
It was.
sure.
Yeah, it was like, we met through Mae Martin after Mae Martin's show. Yeah, and I was trying to do something like I had seen Mae do, like I had seen like Hannah Gadsby do.
I feel like it is very British, like UK, like they've
And it's Australian.
Well, you know, the Commonwealth.
The colonies.
Exactly.
The other colonized
Yeah,
places.
people who've got the queen on their money, but now the king or whatever.
They don't got the same shit we got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They don't got George Washington on their money.
We have to edit that out for YouTube. I don't know the YouTube rules, but we will. They did take
We're blurring at the finger guns for YouTube.
But yeah, I feel like not American stand-up plays more with the performance art aspect of stand-up, and so that was something I noticed just when I went to London in general and like did some comedy. So it's very interesting that you say that. Yeah.
And you did Hannah Gadsby's Netflix series.
Yeah.
So everything's all coming together.
It's like a red
Jess.
circle where you know it's perfectly in one thing, and then you move right, and you're like, how do you not know about the Asian guy who got decolonized with the hypnotherapist?
I've been too busy, obviously.
Yeah.
Thinking about my own work.
Well, watching porn, actually.
Watching so much porn.
Watching so much porn.
How could I look away?
How could you look away, honestly? Well, don't go to Florida. Don't go to Miami and try to get porn.
But don't go to Miami for so many reasons. Stay out of Florida, Jess.
It's fun though, but it's fun, but the porn thing is sad.
Okay.
So much porn is made. Sorry, I will.
No, it's okay.
Well, let's move on.
No, that's crazy.
No, we
so
keep
much
talking
porn
about
is made in Florida.
No, and
it's like if they put an embargo on orange juice in Florida. It's like, what the fuck? Sorry.
Oh, speaking of R.I.P. What's her name?
Oh, Anita Bryant.
Anita Bryant.
Bye.
What about Sorry, I didn't. That wasn't in my thing.
Oh, she's like J.K. Rowling round one, I guess I would say.
She was like a Florida orange juice queen, Patrick Queen, who was like anti-gay.
Yeah, she
during,
was
like Harvey Milk.
Yeah, she was like originally famous for just being like a beauty queen who sold orange juice, and then she started, guess what it's called? Save the Children, of course, and it was like a super homophobic group. And someone threw a pie at her once.
They did.
Someone did pie her once, and it is very.
We need to bring that back.
I feel like it's still happening on Nickelodeon or something. I feel like Mr. Beast is hitting.
I'm sure Mr. Beast is pieing people, but I think we need to do it for justice. I think we need to do
pie
it
people
for
justice. That's right.
Yeah, we need to pie up.
Yeah,
exactly.
Pie up. There we go.
Exactly.
That might be the title of this podcast.
Pie up.
Pie up.
Pie up. Okay. It's time for us to get into the discourse. Just the discourse is our segment where we talk about something that everybody. Oh God!
The structural integrity of everything.
The ghost of Anita Bryant.
Yeah.
Don't you dare pie me, horse. That's why we blocked.
We'll be pieing down to Anita.
Yeah, exactly. Do they have pies in hell?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Are we in hell too? Yes.
I mean.
But we're not. This is what I say. I say there's hell that we're all going to for being sinners and having premarital sex or whatever and trying to get porn.
Not me.
And then there's Dick Cheney hell, which is gonna be it's way lower.
It's hotter and
that's
way
what Dante's Inferno is about.
Yeah, exactly. We're in a different level.
We're in like the cool hell.
Yeah. I can't try to remember what I know about Dante's Inferno.
Your mom's gonna comment on our thing again. And say hopeless.
Hopeless. My mom did comment on a video of me not knowing math and said hopeless. Which is fine. She also has replies turned off, so you can't reply to any of her comments. She can comment to you, but you cannot respond to her. And I think that
she is the alpha uterus.
Well, the final level, the final boss of Elise, honestly.
Yeah, it really
She has 3 different Instagrams or something.
She does.
She keeps forgetting the password.
Well, she has 2 different Facebooks, one is is just like her name, and then one is her name with her maiden name, and one is logged in on her phone, and one is logged in on her computer, and she can't figure out which is which. And she's used them both so much that at this point, to lose one, she would lose valuable information. So she just has to keep operating both Facebooks.
And if that's not a fucking allegory for the identity of a woman in a patriarchal society,
women have to wear so many faces.
You know what I mean? Speaking of faces.
And speaking of faces and the faces that women wear and all of it. Okay, today's discourse, we're actually doing kind of a smaller discourse and then a longer TikTok segment because politics is TikTok and as we know.
TikTok on the clock.
But first, we need to kick things off with basically we need to solve a problem that the internet's been trying to solve. And that issue was Demi Moore being a mean girl to Kylie Jenner at the Golden Globes? This is a huge question.
Big philosophical questions.
This is a huge question.
This is crucial.
It's really important that we get this locked in before we start this new administration and all this stuff that's happening. Like, we need to just solve this.
What is going on?
What is going on between Demi Moore and Kylie Jenner? So, did either of you guys watch the Golden Globes? Are you watchers of awards shows in general?
No.
No, sorry.
Okay, it's totally fine. You don't need to have watched the Golden Globes to understand what's
At least
happening here.
you love an award
I love an
show.
award show. I'll watch every single one.
God.
You watch the CMTs?
You know what? That one I miss. That one I will miss.
For some reason, I got because I did one red carpet for MTV something. So I get invited to the CMTs they're like, please come to the CMTs.
Wait, I'm sorry. I don't know what that is.
Country music television awards.
Yeah, they gotta be.
It's the white supremacists. I'm sorry. It's not white supremacists. They just will never give a black person an award.
Anagram.
No, they just are mean to Beyonce for some reason.
And Shabuzi too.
Yeah,
and
true.
yeah.
And Lil Nas X.
And Lil Nas X.
But we don't know why they're doing that.
We don't know why they're doing that.
It could be for any reason.
Anyway, so you don't watch Golden Globes. Elise does.
Okay.
What happened?
So for some background, Demi Moore is there for starring in The Substance, which she would then go on to win Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy. She got the Golden Globe. She gave a great speech. It was lovely. Timothée Chalamet, also there for playing Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown. He's at a table with his co-stars, Elle Fanning and Monica Barbaro, and his longtime girlfriend, Miss Kylie Jenner.
How long have they been together?
Like a while now.
At least 2 years.
Okay. Yeah, it's standing the test of time.
At least 2 years, I would say, because remember when Club Chalamet, when we were doing our pilot for this podcast in summer 2023, Club Chalamet wrote that diatribe saying it's not true. Like when they were together at the U.S. Open.
Club Chalamet had already been upset, and that was in the past.
In the past because we covered Club Chalamet because Club Chalamet, we found out she was 57 because she said she was almost at 9/11.
Yes. And go back and watch our pilot episode if you want to hear all about that. And honestly,
we've been doing this
for a while.
No, you guys do deep research.
We really do into shit that is
connecting
so
the
stupid.
threads.
That is into truly, truly deranged shit. And that's kind of what we're about to do. So
they've been together, to answer your question, they've been together for 2 years.
Right around there, at least. Because she was with him throughout the filming of all this movie. Anyway, the discourse all started with a video, which we are now going to watch. And I will narrate as you guys watch for the listeners to kind of take it all in.
But yeah. And if you're watching on YouTube, you're just going to see the clip.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll just see the clip. That was really loud.
Turn it down. How is video we tested before? No.
I've muted it.
This is just like a commercial on Hulu.
I'm like, whoop. Okay.
Okay, press.
And the video can see that. And the video can see. Okay.
Let's try again.
What's funny is that the audio for this video isn't even that important.
I muted it completely.
I can't fucking believe it. I text you guys in the air. Go at home.
Okay,
Wow, I
so
went deaf for that.
I know. Okay, so what we see in the video, Demi Moore comes over to Timothée Chalamet's table. She says hello to Elle Fanning. She says hi to Monica Barbaro. She congratulates both of them. They hug. Is she going to say hi to Kylie? No, she skips Kylie, goes right to hug Timothy, and she leaves. We see Kylie put down a phone in selfie mode. That is the video. So, from this video, the question was asked, is Demi Moore being a mean girl to Kylie Jenner in this video? I can break down just like a few fundamental questions that started going around online. Was she purposefully ignoring Kylie? If so, is that mean girl behavior? Does Demi Moore know who Kylie Jenner is? If so, did she realize that was Kylie Jenner? Is it possible to be a mean girl to Kylie Jenner? We can start anywhere with your guys'
I have one
thoughts.
question. Can you be a mean girl if you're in your 60s?
She's not in her 60s.
She's
50 something. I don't think she's 60 though.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
Look it up.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
I think she's like 50.
She was looking pretty smooth.
I mean, that's just
But I do think you can be a mean girl at any.
bitch 62.
Oh, fuck.
Really?
She looks
Wow.
amazing.
That's the
Wait,
substance,
the
and that's the
substance.
my
substance.
life.
That's the
She looks
substance.
And that's the
incredible.
Baby.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And-
But she
Whoa.
was in her 40s when she was married to Ashton Kutcher.
That's true.
I'm going to go ahead and say that I did not understand the substance at all, not knowing that information.
That she was 60.
Yes.
Yeah, 'cause
no,
you're
no,
like, what
because
is
I
this
was like,
hot
she's
woman, like,
fine. Like,
Whatever.
hot.
Yeah.
No.
She's turning 50 in the substance. That's like the birthday
Well,
that happens and shit.
And we all should
could've turned
hope to
60.
have careers where we're playing ourselves, turning 10 years
Younger.
younger and acting like that's old.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, then in that case,
But can you be a mean girl in your 60s?
my immediate number one, you can be a mean girl in your 60s. But
Mhm.
number two, my immediate response seeing that was, I was like, I don't think she knows who Kylie Jenner is. Like, I think it's a thing, she's like, when you see your friend and then your friend's girlfriend.
Yeah. I'm like kind of, yeah. I feel like it's even less than that. It's if you see your coworker's girlfriend, like,
Right.
what is your expectation? And not even because they're not even coworkers. I
Yeah.
would say if you're at a work conference
Yes.
and you see someone from an adjacent company that you've heard of and you go say hi to them, but you don't say hi to the girlfriend, like, is
Well,
that mean girl?
Also, she's winning in that moment, right?
So she has just won. She has just won her award, and she's basically going around and like getting congratulations from like her peers.
Yeah.
My personal feeling is that I think if you sat Demi Moore down and said, "Do you know who Kylie Jenner is?" she might like say yes. If you're like, she's the Kardashian with the lips and all this stuff, she would say yes. But I don't think that she
all
in
the
that.
Kardashians have the lips.
Well,
Well,
famously for, but
But I think that, like, I think Demi Moore does technically, like, it's in her mind to know who she is, but I don't think that in that moment she realized that was her. Like, I don't know that she knows that she's dating Timothée Chalamet and that's her date. And when you think about, like, when Demi Moore came up in, like, especially Hollywood or whatever, she's probably so used to the guy who's at the best actors table just having a random model next to him. Like
Totally.
she hasn't. I don't think that it registered to her that that was Kylie Jenner, whether she knows who that is or not.
Also, you cannot try to take a selfie with somebody when they've just won an award. Like, it's just not
she
the
was
time.
trying to take a selfie.
It's
So
just
that's
not
what
the
people
time.
think because her
if that's what
phone
was
is,
happening.
she has her phone up and it is in selfie mode. And so people, one of the discourses is like, Kylie's clearly reaching to get that selfie. And then Demi Moore just like talks to everyone on either side of her, but not her. And I'm just like, and people are like, that's mean girl behavior. I don't like that, blah, blah, blah. And then other people are like, whatever, fuck it, it's Kylie Jenner. I'm just like, I don't think that she was purposefully skipping Kylie Jenner or doing anything other than just trying to congratulate the other actors at the table.
Yeah.
She's 40 years older than her. Like, what is she
At
gonna?
least,
She's had a career for 40 years. She lives in the suburbs. She doesn't hang around 25-year-old
Yeah.
Kylie Jenner.
No.
Like, she
Her
doesn't
kids
know.
are older than Kylie Jenner. Her
think
kids
so.
are like in their 30s, so it's not even somebody that like, oh, they grew up together. I would also say this speaks to like the internet, like niche, where it's like she could be the biggest celebrity to many, many people.
Yes.
She's, I think, the 4th or 5th most followed person on Instagram in the world, after 2 soccer players and Selena Gomez. But who the fuck Demi Moore? Demi Moore knows all the managers, all the like. It's a business thing. That's the thing that like TikTok and social media sometimes can like not you know.
It's flattening. It's putting them on like the same level.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's
When it's
really
like,
not.
was your mom a mean girl to Kylie Jenner?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like,
No. And I also, because this is something I suffer from, is like sometimes if I see someone in a context that I'm not expecting to see them, it just
100%.
like
100%.
I'm just like, huh, who
I
is
didn't
that person?
remember Anita Bryant's name, and I was trying to spit on her grave.
Yeah.
And you're like, who was that?
That lady.
Elise said Anita Hill the other day.
I did say Anita Hill instead of Anita Bryant
Yeah,
on our
on
Patreon
our-
if you
on
want to
our
join our
Gatesgate, yeah.
Patreon. Very different.
Yeah,
people,
very different.
Very different. One's a friend of the pod and one is not.
Yeah.
But I will say, you brought up her kids,
Yeah.
Demi Moore's kids. Tallulah Willis took to Instagram story the very next day
Oh, God.
to say, nipping this straight in the bud. We spent New Year's with Elle, speaking of Elle Fanning.
Oh.
So connecting with her after a win was a very organic thing to do. This angel was in total shock and delight, moving through a warm room of well-wishers. There is no snub of any sort, and had she seen Kylie wanting to congratulate her, she would have fully given her the time and space. Literally just give it a break and let a gal enjoy her accomplishments. And I'm like, yeah.
I know, but guess that it's giving Meghan McCain. It's giving, why are you in your parents' business? Where's your life? Let's get your shit together. Why are we so obsessed with mommy? What's going on?
Because that's the meal ticket. That's
Well-
how you can keep living your. Oh, if I wish that my mother was in such a position that she was being accused of being a mean girl to Kylie Jenner, and I was living off of that career.
If there was discourse about my mom, I'd post.
I know, but it's like,
I would post.
yeah, I guess I don't know.
You
I
wouldn't
guess
defend
like
your mom, Millie?
I would defend my mom, but the way it's like, we did, I don't know, the Russian, I mean, like, my mom was not icing out Kylie Jenner, like, y'all are tripping, but I don't know, the long statement of like, well wishes, she would have made space. I'm just like, girl.
Can I say this?
Yes.
I'm pro mean girl.
Okay.
I think that
Just,
things are
you
swinging
were
back
too
around.
sensitive to put the headphones on, but you're pro
I
mean
didn't.
girl.
I
Please
wasn't.
tell me.
I didn't say I was pro loud girl. I said I was pro mean girl.
So what does that mean to you?
I think that I mean, I love a bitch.
Yeah.
I love like I don't even think this is not about Demi Moore and Kylie
Yeah.
Jenner. Like
No,
at all.
I know. We know you like to get stepped on.
I think I do. That I do. I like a good smack around in the face. But I think I like a mean girl. I like somebody who has strong dissenting unpopular opinions and like isn't afraid to express
Like Megyn
them.
Kelly.
Exactly. Like Megyn Kelly, Meghan McCain, Meghan Trainor.
Meghan
I-
Trainor.
But I think there's something I don't know. I feel like I'm walking a line on this discourse, but I think there's something to this like trying to take down a mean girl discourse.
Oh
or
yeah.
trying to label
Girls
somebody a mean
girl
girl,
and mean
which
girl.
is it's like villainizing a woman. You're like, what did this woman do that was bad?
Well, I do think that there are like so many different internet monikers for like types of women who you're not supposed to be and that you can be labeled and that's bad. So it's like, you're not a girl's girl. You're a mean girl. You're a pick me. You're like, there's
Right.
just so many different things. And I do sometimes feel, so like obviously the early 2000s were like such a vicious and cruel culture. Like I'm not saying that we need to go back to that. But I feel like the pendulum has swung in such a wild direction where now it's like, you can't even approach a negative comment about anyone without people being like, wow, that's really mean. Like, this is like, I remember I was looking at the comments. I think The Cut did an article about how Katy Perry's Woman's World song was bad.
Yeah.
And all the comments are like, wow, tearing down a woman. this is really nasty, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, people are allowed to say art was bad. A magazine is allowed to say a song is bad.
It's a lot of conversation that's happening now because people say that about people who criticize Beyonce or people who've been criticizing Karen Bass as mayor with the reaction with the LA fires. It's like, what is actual criticism? What is based in sexism? What is based in racism? And also, yeah, I feel like I'm not like, what is a mean girl, right? Because, like, is it somebody who's, like, malicious and puts people down and all that stuff? Or is it someone who's just rude, direct, is not going to say hi to someone that she doesn't know? Like, it depends. Like, and I think the definitions are all getting fucked up.
Also, if somebody, like... I feel like if somebody is mean, like, for real, who cares? Like, don't be friends with that person. Like, that's not a crime.
Yeah. Conflict is not abuse. Yeah.
Conflict is not abuse.
Wow.
Famously,
Yeah.
I read the cover of that book.
Yeah. Well, inside you would have figured out about the guy who got hypnotized. Not like
Okay, I feel like we solved it. Demi Moore is not a mean girl.
Demi Moore is not.
And if she was, it's okay.
And if she was, it's okay. Just wants to get stomped on by Demi Moore.
Demi, if you're listening,
and she is on the YouTube, and she is, and she's on the YouTube, and you look amazing. And thank you for subscribing.
Yeah.
But this, I feel like, segues us personally into what will be our longer segment, because where do many of these discourses take place? Where are many videos being shared today? Where are the mean girls and the girls and the pick-me's all cavorting around online? It's TikTok. And today we do need to update on the TikTok ban. We call this segment Polita TikTok, and it's been earning its name for a while. So Jess, you said you are a TikTok lurker, but you're not a TikTok. Like, TikTok is not a cornerstone of your online presence.
About a TikTok.
I'm not even really a TikTok lurker. Like, I actually feel like, you know, for the past 5 years, I've been feeling this external pressure to, like, be on TikTok, post things on TikTok, and I have almost been waiting for this moment. Like, I waited long enough, and now I don't have to do it anymore.
You waited out. Like, I feel like I did that with Clubhouse.
Yes.
Like, I missed
and I did it with what's the one where you have to take a picture in like 5 seconds?
Be real.
Be real. By the way, that's cult behavior. That's what they did in Nexium to train their cult people. They would have people text you like respond right now, and
too,
yeah.
So
Be real, I fell off of just because I can't have too many things going on. But TikTok got me.
It was fun for a little bit.
It was fun for a little bit. I will
Very
say,
French.
I mean, I know you are on TikTok, you use TikTok, you post on TikTok, but you're not like a huge
I'm
poster
not
on
like
TikTok.
posting a lot. Yeah.
I would say probably of the three of us, I'm the most TikTok pilled. I've got a monetized TikTok.
Good for you. And sorry.
And I know it's actually really good money. I use TikTok a lot. I post on TikTok. I actually have more followers on TikTok than anywhere else.
Wait, how much money are you making on TikTok?
She said.
Okay, well, so here's what I'll say is that when I like first monetized my TikTok, it was a backlog of like everything I had ever made. So the first check was for like $700. Again, I don't have like a huge TikTok or anything like that, but that was like a couple of videos that had over 1 million views and whatever, different qualified. And then for the past couple of months since then, I've made like $200 a month pretty consistently. So it's like,
and you're not like going.
I don't have a million. Yeah,
you're not like doing it.
No,
I'm job. You're just kind of like in the same way that I feel like you'd be doing Instagram.
Exactly. And here's what I will say is that the same video on Instagram doing better. So I have more views on the video on Instagram. My Instagram's also monetized. I made like $30 instead of like 200. So it's a big difference.
Zuckerberg.
Well, we'll get to that.
So let's talk about where the TikTok ban is at right now. So as a reminder, we've talked about this a couple times, but the TikTok is set to be banned in the United States on January 19th. That's one day before the inauguration.
Let's do the I'm kidding. Storm.
After like a bunch of back and forth in the courts, it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court heard oral arguments on Friday. We are recording this on Monday, January 13th. just so that people know. Because, like, they're actively listening to arguments. Things could change by the time the episode comes out. But people who, like, are court watchers or whatever, I'm seeing a lot of, like, mainstream media outlets saying that it seems like they're poised to uphold the ban. And then I'm seeing some other people say it seems actually more 50-50. We can't really tell what they're going to do. But my personal feeling is it looks like it's happening. It looks like it's going to be removed. So, as a reminder of why, U.S. lawmakers say that TikTok poses a unique national security threat because its parent company, ByteDance, is a Chinese company. And the laws in China are such that if the Chinese government asks for sensitive data, the company would technically have to hand it over to them. And this could be used, according to the U.S. government, for intelligence gathering operations, et cetera, et cetera. Let's talk about that first point first.
It's giving World War II Japanese internment camp.
Ooh. I mean,
but with TikTok,
Yeah, but way stupider.
yeah, I'm like,
it does feel very. I mean, just to go back, I feel like there's that famous from the first TikTok hearings of that one senator who won't accept that the guy who owns TikTok is from Singapore and is just constantly being like, but you're Chinese. And he's like, Senator, I'm from Singapore. Like, and it's just like, it does feel like this is racially motivated.
100%.
I will say that before Rupert Murdoch could own like Fox and all that stuff, he had to renounce his Australian citizen. It's like a thing where it's like if you own a major company in America, you have to like it has to be owned by, you know, like a U.S. citizen.
Okay, what about Elon Musk?
Well,
Yeah.
he's a citizen of the U.S.
Because he's an illegal immigrant.
He was
He's H-1B visa.
He was an illegal immigrant. He became naturalized. I'm just saying, like, you know, not that the racial bias is not there. Not that Senator Tom Cotton didn't say that. I'm also saying, like, in general, that is a thing that they've had to uphold about somebody, like, renouncing their, like, loyalties. And it's the same, and we talked about, it's the same it's the same security concerns. That Instagram, that, you know, Twitter, that everything about, like, the data gathering and stuff. But ultimately, the U.S. doesn't care if that data could go to the U.S. government. But,
Yeah.
and I mean, I don't even know if legally it can, like, if Facebook can take stuff and give it to the U.S. There's, like, even some proclivities there. But with how the Chinese government is operated, like, they do, you have to give anything that they want. So that is the quote unquote, like,
The conceit. One of the conceits. I guess my feeling is like, China literally makes our phones. Like, if you're gonna do this with TikTok, then okay, like Shein, Temu, like all of these, like any.
yeah.
I guess my feeling is like, not only is it like if the Chinese government wants my data, they can get it. It's that they probably already have it, and they had it well before I downloaded.
So what you're
TikTok.
saying is full embargo on China.
Yeah, but
That's what they fucking want. That's what the right wing and Trump and all of them want. I will say
tariffs and shit.
I will say
we'll be
Shein,
sorry.
you can buy a dress on Shein. They might have your credit card information. But Shein, for the most part, can't get creators to send you a message the way that technically the Chinese government can to you. So that is like the argument against banning it. Do I think that it should be banned? No, whatever. But like, it is a security concern in the same way that a lot of this shit is. And like, whatever.
Yeah, I guess I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I used to be more, be like, well, there are security things. And now I'm very much more like, I think they just want to fuck with China. I think that they just want the algorithm. I think that these tech bros want the algorithm for themselves because it's super valuable. I think all of this is just, and I think that a lot of these senators and people did this without actually truly understanding like what TikTok was.
No, they don't know how to print a PDF.
No, they don't.
They don't know how to fucking. My grandmother had a Post-it note with written instructions on how to Google something.
Mhm.
That's what these people, and my grandmother was more like, she like suddenly died 2 years ago, suddenly. But at the point at which she died, she was more mentally aware than the president of the United States.
I mean,
like these people don't know anything.
I will say that like a big number are like that. It's like a big number are like that, and a big number are like they do know because and they're using it for nefarious reasons.
Yeah.
And then there are people who are concerned about security, and it's like all of them together have been this force that like is banning TikTok.
Yeah, I guess
I don't want to be like, oh, Republicans don't know. It's like arguably Republicans are better at the internet than many.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Totally.
And radicalization.
Sure.
And it's not just Republicans. Like this past bipartisan, whatever. But they're like, my feeling is that I'm like, if this was really just a security concern thing, I feel like you could pass a law around how the data is stored.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't need. The purpose of this law is that they want to sell it to the U.S. because the TikTok algorithm is really fucking good.
Yeah.
It's doing better. It's the only social media app that's still thriving. Instagram Reels flop, Threads flop, Blue Sky we don't know, Twitter X flop. Like
not YouTube though.
Not YouTube, and we love our YouTube subscribers, all 100.
I'm so scared of YouTube.
It's
scary.
But
be scared.
But it is like I think that the real juice of this entire thing is that they just want the US to own it. They don't care about anything, though. The one other point that has been made is that lawmakers have also specifically said that they are worried. They say that it's that TikTok's algorithm will fuel misinformation, but they have specifically pointed out pro-Palestinian content on the app. In an op-ed in November 2023, Republican Representative Mike Gallagher of Wisconsin wrote that the Chinese Communist Party was using TikTok to push an anti-Israel agenda.
Oh, please.
I know. Saying, how did we reach a point where a majority of young Americans hold such a morally bankrupt view of the world? Where many young Americans are rooting for terrorists who kidnapped American citizens against a key American ally. Where were they getting the raw news to inform them of this upside-down worldview? The short answer is increasingly via social media and predominantly TikTok.
Well, everything surrounding misinformation on social media is completely out the window now. Completely out the window.
And we're going to get into like that topic more deeply.
We are going to get into that.
We're
just, like, super getting into that with the Grasshole.
Like, okay, I want to say, number one, I'm not smart enough to really follow the discourse about like what so-and-so has to renounce before they own a major media company in the United States. I don't know anything about that. But what I do know is that buzzwords like security concerns are like what we use. Like that's propaganda to me.
Yeah.
That's what we use to justify anything, to justify locking up immigrants in cages.
That's what you said is like the Japanese.
That's what they said. They said security concerns that they were worried that these people were going to wire over information to the Emperor of Japan.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously two very different things happening, but at the end of the day, like it's
a discourse, like it's a mode of discourse.
It's crazy because the thing is, and what I'm trying to get at with like how I think about Republican talking points is that there is some legitimate concern at some root of it, but the answers are always wrong and inaccurate because the reality is they're talking about China pushing misinformation about the Palestine war. The reality is Russia pushed disinformation about United States politics on Facebook.
Yeah, like
they did the fucking coup in Burma. That was on Facebook. All these countries have been destabilized on Facebook. Yeah. So it's like, is this a possibility that has happened in the past 10 years?
Yes.
Yes, you can watch the Channel 4 documentary about it. Pro Analytica.
Oh, Cambridge Analytica.
Cambridge Analytica.
There we go.
Analytica.
There we go.
Oh gosh, you can watch that fucking shit. It's fucking scary. Real shit has happened. And that's why I'm not gonna be like, I don't even like. I get what you're saying, and I don't want to be like that would never ever happen. It has happened,
Totally.
but it has happened with Facebook.
Totally. And I want to
this-
be clear, I'm not talking about like Republicans. I mean like the United
you're
States.
saying in
like,
general.
at
No,
large.
you're good. Yeah, like good, but I'm saying like at the core of this fear is rooted in some reality.
Sure.
But the thing is that it has been pushed already for things that have empowered and benefited us, and the potential that it has not benefited America, like that could happen, not benefiting Americans, is terrifying.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling about it. Is like, is there a real reason for us to try to learn more and understand more about how our data is being stored and like how data is used and whatever? Yes. Should we know more about algorithms and how they push information? Absolutely yes. But the most damaging shit I've ever seen in my lifetime from all of that happened on Facebook.com. And no one
And that's
no one
been
cared.
proven.
And that's
Yeah.
been proven.
been proven.
And they didn't do anything about that.
No.
So that's what's wild to me. So what I want to get into now is just like what actually will happen if and when TikTok is banned. So TikTok currently has 170 million users in the United States. It won't just disappear off your phone on the 20th.
That's more than half the country.
I know. Well, and so what will happen is basically like the app won't be able to update anymore. So it'll just start to slowly become unusable. Basically, it's kind of unclear how long that might take. But TikTok has said that it will cease operations in the US on the 19th per the law. So even if you're using like a VPN or you're like trying to disguise your location, if you have a US phone number and it's attached to your TikTok, it will stop operating for you at some point.
I feel like a lot of our like pop economy relies on TikTok.
Oh, so much. Like, think about the music that's been discovered.
I know.
New restaurants, new all this shit. Like, and it's everything that's on the other social medias. Like, a lot of it starts on TikTok.
Totally.
Yeah, and well, I like one of my side hustles is being social media manager for an app, and CapCut is also going to go away if TikTok is banned. And I'm like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I really use CapCut, and that's one of the things that I feel so strongly with this ban about is that I do think it was a bunch of people, the people who understood in a real way what TikTok was. Where they had other concerns where they wanted to get sold to a US company. And then it was a bunch of other people like Joe Biden who they don't get that like these are people's businesses. These are people's jobs. These are people's livelihoods. Like hold on, let me pull up what I've got. So obviously like there are influencers who make a living on TikTok. As
Morales,
not a living, but I'm gonna miss my $200 a month.
Well,
that's
you know, like I was like,
Trump
I'm gonna
gave
miss my money.
$1,200 4 years ago, and people are still holding on to that.
Yeah,
You
like,
can miss your $200.
I'm gonna miss my little check that I get from TikTok, and like, I think that there's been, and this is just online discourse in general, but there's like been a huge callousness to anyone who's like, I'm losing my job because of the TikTok ban, where people are like, then you should get a real job, just go to another platform, and it's like, we all know that they're not all the same.
No.
What has juice on one doesn't work on the other, etc. They don't pay the same. Monetization is different on every single one. And like, unless you have like a Lego job, which is like a job a Lego would have.
Oh,
Firefighter, policeman.
Yeah, exactly. Like construction worker.
worker.
Then your job is fucking fake too. If
All
you're just
jobs
some
are
guy
fake.
who pushes buttons and sends emails all day, why is your job more valid than like an influencer who like does lifestyle content? I don't know.
I think this comes around to even though like there's all kinds of people on TikTok, obviously, and all kinds of people making money on TikTok, it's a feminized thing to be an influencer. It's a feminized thing to be on TikTok. So it comes around to like, this doesn't matter because a woman is doing it.
Well, that's like at the core of a lot of our fucking things. And,
Totally.
And it's interesting. Like, that is a huge right wing shift, is that like going to college is a feminized thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's such a good point where it's like, even though there are so many men who are influencers and like really famous influencers, again, like Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, all these dudes, in people's minds, when you think influencer, you think of a young woman, and like there's no one society respects less
than a young woman. And they think, again, they're like, oh, you don't do anything all day. All you do is take selfies. Not knowing that usually it's like a multi-million dollar.
And also, you're looking at the fucking
And you're
selfies.
looking at the
You're the
fucking
one
selfies.
on here. If it wasn't a real job, you wouldn't have the app on your phone and you wouldn't be scrolling and they wouldn't be it's because people are looking at the stuff. But to put even like influencers aside, there are also a ton of small businesses that operate on TikTok, either through the TikTok shop or because people follow them on TikTok. There are currently 7 million small businesses on TikTok. That's not that. I think that's a total number. So some of that's obviously not the United States, but like it does feel kind of like basically Congress walking into a mall and being like, all these stores are shut down.
Yeah.
Find new premises.
I mean,
Sorry.
they're doing that already. Like that's I'm a big Etsy girl. Etsy has gone totally the way of the wind.
Really, I didn't realize that Etsy has been.
There's
It's
like a lot of, like,
it's
drop
Amazon-fied, yeah.
Wow.
Amazon
drop
Temu
ship.
fied.
We've been having to talk. We've been talking about like we got to do a drop ship episode
Yeah.
because it's like all like shit.
It is, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really hard to tell now, like what's actually cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
what's actually handmade and shit.
Well, what's that thing they keep calling about, like the in-shitification of everything?
Well,
Mhm.
Like everything is becoming shittier and worse. And I do feel like, for all its problems, I do think that TikTok has fucked with people's brains in a way that's not good.
I
don't.
know.
You don't agree.
No. I was gonna say that I think that I think it's a double-edged sword because I think TikTok has been a huge proliferator of this like misogynist turn.
Yeah, I mean, like it's
I feel like that's on YouTube though.
Oh yeah, definitely. I didn't
YouTube.
say not on YouTube. I didn't say exclusive to TikTok.
Yeah.
Not exclusive, but I think it's on there.
it's not a
I just
perfect.
feel like misogyny is gonna be everywhere.
Fair enough.
But
Fair enough.
it's not a
Don't
perfect
you hate
platform.
women? We hate women. We just said we hate Mean Girl.
And follow us on YouTube. It's not a perfect platform by any means, and I'm not going to stand here and be like, TikTok's great. Everything I see on there is really good, and it's definitely made life better. But it does feel like one platform that's working still as it should. I will say that the moment that I engaged with the TikTok shop, I started getting an enormous amount of ads. Like every other thing that I looked at was an ad, and that did decrease the quality of the app.
Oh yeah,
It got
and I
crazy.
got on TikTok shop. I do
Yeah.
have a countertop ice maker. I do have those tights that look like skin that are fleece lined.
Mhm.
I have a bunch of bullshit from TikTok, so I can't
Yeah.
say, he without sin cast the first stone. I will say though, that I think that this is really, it's too fucking bad in a moment in our country's history where democracy is under attack and all these
From
people.
who?
I don't know. I
It's
don't
just
know.
the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. And even like the COVID, there's a lot of books and stuff that are saying that this country has systematically pushed people to think that government can't solve any society problems. That should all be run by like free market and all that shit. And then, so that's why that was a big reason why people were distrustful of the COVID vaccine, because they've never experienced anything like that. We've talked about this a bunch, and it's like, this is going more towards the way, and people have this cynical view of government, which, government can do really great things. It has done, but we have the most malicious, punitive Matt Gaetz motherfuckers axing the government any type of way. And then the things that do get passed, like the promises they make about minimum wage or single payer health plan, never happen. But then you have them banning TikTok and them fucking, you gotta scan your ID for porn. I'm sorry. But like these things that fucking fuck us up and make life worse get passed immediately.
Yeah.
Don't say gay. Let's ban the books. Blah, blah, blah. And then, like, what is that going to do to this generation?
There's
of
one
voters?
trans person in Congress, like, we have to change the bathroom rules. Like, that is what, that happens. They can get that done. But, like, nothing that affects the life of anybody.
Well, and there are things, and this is why I said, like, the right is good at the internet, because they'll push every little shitty accomplishment they do, while like things that actually, whatever, even incremental small things that like are compromises that do in turn kind of help, are not being publicized. And then what's being publicized is, again, this failure or like this ban, which I'm just like, how are you going to tell a young person to vote if you're not even, if we don't have like a major political player on the left that's like, hey guys, like this is fucked up. At least saying that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do think that there's an element of like that they don't like that like a leftist dialogue happens on TikTok because as we've talked about, like Republicans actually don't care if the far right gets into power, so they're happy to help them. Democrats don't want the far left to get into power.
No,
either,
they're
so-
stopping it.
Yeah.
Stopping it actively.
So it's like they don't, people are always like, why don't we have a left wing Joe Rogan or this person? It's like because the Democrats don't want that. Republicans actually don't care if the most far right person possible is extremely successful and dominates
But
policy.
the Democrats will try harder to stop someone from the far left from getting in power than they will someone from the far right.
Absolutely.
I mean,
because
that's
in
just
their
what's
head-
happening, literally.
In their head, they're like, oh, well, the person from the far right is so crazy that they'll see us, the center, and be like, well, at least it's not this crazy guy. But the thing is,
And that
if
has
you're
been proven not to work
it doesn't
over
work,
and
and it's
over and
like-
over again.
if you don't have a basis or something to show like this is actually what this government could do and like this is whatever, and you just have things moving to the right, moving to the right, moving to the right, fucking tons of content that is like, I'm gonna fucking make bread for my husband for scratch even though he fucking sucks and doesn't clean his house. Like, you know?
Yeah, it's okay. So I know I'm like trying to organize the conversation because there's truly so many ways, but that's one thing a lot of people are talking about. If I go on TikTok right now, it's all people talking about the ban and being like, young people being like, it's crazy that in my lifetime, I have never seen like I've never seen legislation get passed this swiftly and bipartisan, and it's to do this thing that is fucking dumb at a bare minimum and is harmful on a different level, whereas like no one can afford a home, price of eggs, blah, 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 no universal health care. Like everything is so messed up, but we can't aid on any of the issues anybody cares about. We can just ban TikTok. So here's probably the overarching question, and maybe by the time this episode comes out, we'll know. Can TikTok still be saved? SCOTUS could technically decide to strike down the ban, though it does not. The court watchers are not getting that vibe.
Yeah, let's put all our fucking eggs in the Supreme Court basket.
But SCOTUS could also decide to punt the decision down the road to give the Trump administration time to do something. Trump has now said that he wants to save TikTok. He's the one who originally created the ban.
Trump doesn't know what happened 5 minutes ago.
No.
Trump is
He is living in the moment, freely, fully phoned down, just vibing out.
I think Barron told him to keep it, so now maybe he'll keep
Is
it.
Barron on TikTok?
Probably lurking.
He's probably lurking. The I like my suitcase thing coming out.
He went
like,
viral. Yeah, he had a viral sound.
and then he was getting kind of harassed at NYU for that meme for a while.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen when you're Donald Trump's son and you're 6'9" and you're at NYU.
Can I say something? I'm kidding. At least sends me to the hypnosis.
No.
Like, you cannot find Barron Trump attractive. I didn't say that.
We did. It was a joke.
It was a joke.
It was a
This
joke.
is a comedy podcast.
Yeah.
It's a comedy podcast first,
You know
and a
how
math podcast last.
Yes. You know how, like, honestly, how many people abuse, like, it was a joke. It was satire. No one knows what satire is on the internet anymore.
No, and that's okay. This is my personal beef about TikTok.
Yeah.
Purely personal, not governmental
yeah,
whatsoever. I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
it should be legislated around whatsoever.
But
I think that no one understands what a joke is on TikTok.
No.
I saw a TikTok recently that was like, it was like a gym guy. I'm getting all these gym the
Yeah, okay.
bulking content
yeah,
lately
yeah.
because I'm bulking.
I wonder
I
why.
don't know if you can tell.
Yeah.
I do naturally have the body of Ariana Grande.
Which one?
It was
Yeah, which body? The black one? the
think-
Latino one, the Asian one,
I
or
think
the white one?
Galinda. I think Galinda.
Galinda.
Ariana. No, Korean Ariana.
Korean Ariana.
But
I did like that. I mean, I liked all the.
I
don't
love
like
Seven
this one.
Rings. I love Ariana. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. But Okay, so it was a video of a guy in the gym, and the caption was like safety tips for when you like max out lifting like a barbell. And the joke was that over and over again, he would like have this barbell that was quote unquote too heavy, and then he would like lift it up and like do all this crazy shit with it. So the joke is that like that's not what you do.
Yeah.
But it was neither funny nor clear enough for me to
Yes.
even really tell it was a joke. And I actually was like, is this how you get out of this?
No.
Like, I was like, someone's gonna hurt themselves because this is not funny enough to tell that it's a joke.
This is
We
a
had
big
this-
topic on the podcast.
We had this thing because somebody wrote an anonymous letter to remember that podcast about work where
oh,
somebody's like,
yes.
my employee wants I asked my employee to come in for a quarterly meeting at 8 a.m. and they said no because they had a workout class. And I think that's kind of bullshit, and like Gen Z employees kind of suck. That was like the anonymous letter. And then some guy on TikTok wrote like, I had my workout class already booked and I'm gonna lose money.
I
and
was
this
the
and that.
employee.
I was the employee in this thing and all this stuff. And then everyone was like, yeah, fuck, whatever. And then the woman, he did that thing, it went viral. And then the woman who hosted the podcast got all these like death threats and stuff. And the guy, and then the
Corporate Natalie.
corporate Natalie, yes. Basically, the guy was like, sorry, it was satire.
And
It
it's
was a
like,
joke.
there has to be a joke. This is the thing we talk about is this, it's a skit culture where it's like,
It was a skit.
Okay, but
Oh
you
yeah, it
have
was a
to-
skit. It was a direct to camera lie. That was a
yeah,
skit.
just him saying, I was this employee. And it's like, that's not a skit. That's not a joke. There has to be a joke. But even when there is a joke,
The jokes aren't very
The
good.
jokes are bad. Yeah.
but also, even when there is a joke and the joke is good, it is not always recognized
No.
by the TikTok commenters. I will say I have a video of myself performing a character. The character is titled Girl on Love is Blind Who Doesn't Know She's Talking to Her Dad. I am on a stage.
Oh, I love that one. I love that.
Thank you. Anyway, I'm on a stage. The location is tagged Upright Citizens Brigade Theater, New York. People are laughing, not to toot my own horn, but there's some laughter happening.
It was your husband.
Yeah, it's just Danny going, ha ha. And it's like a laugh track that I have of him. But anyway,
Yeah, like because he didn't get the.
I was getting
Wow,
comments.
Husband's laugh track is a really sad idea.
Let me tell you what it's like to be a straight woman dating. That's a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's hard. Okay, first of all, if a guy wants to go out with you, not smart enough to get your joke, they're gonna need a laugh track.
They're going to need a laugh track. But even with the laugh track, here's what I'll say is that I was getting comments of people going, is this real? And then someone responds, I think she's at a comedy club. And then she goes, oh, the laughter in the background was throwing me off. I thought the laughter was the dad. I'm like, I don't know how to help with this.
The media illiteracy meeting the regular illiteracy.
Yeah,
It's hard.
It's showing dark times.
It's-
but we're here to combat.
But we're
that.
here to combat that. We're here to keep you media literate
Literate.
and regular literate. But what I will say also is that as bad as it is in the TikTok comments, Instagram Reels comments are
worse,
the
are
bottom
worse.
of the barrel.
God.
Worse.
Are you wrapping up? Because
Yeah, I'm
I'm
wrapping
gearing up. I'm gearing up.
we're wrapping up because now that Instagram Reels has been invoked, it's almost time for Grasshole. I will just add a couple last minute things about what could happen here. So Trump has said he wanted to save TikTok, but it's
all in
Trump.
Clarence Thomas's. and
I know,
Trump's hands.
literally. It's Trump. He said he wants the court to pause the law so he could pursue a political resolution. If the court does do that, it would grant him a 90-day extension to try to do one of his famous deals and get
Where
ByteDance
everything's
this
worse.
out.
But guess what? If he fucking passes, like, he doesn't let TikTok get banned, he's gonna win for like 80 years.
I do think it's funny that like he could end up doing something immediately that would get him good press, and also that in this one instance, the fact that the Supreme Court is beholden to him in a way that
Mhm.
it's not supposed to be could actually be helpful to us because he asked them not to do it. He could try to get the law reversed, which would mean Congress would have to repeal the legislation. That's kind of tough because it passed super bipartisan, but also a bunch of new people have been elected who live up his ass. So maybe again, it's like all of these nefarious systems could work one time
Yeah.
to save TikTok
Before it ruins everything.
before it ruins everything. He could also tell the DOJ not to enforce the ban and decline to penalize companies that make the app available. But then it's tough to know whether like Apple or Google or the app stores want to take that on and be like technically in violation of the law with a promise from Trump, who's like the least trustworthy person in the world, that he's not going to pursue them.
Yeah.
So that's where we stand with TikTok. And now I think it's time for us to move on to another app.
Yes.
Perhaps a darker app.
A darker app. Guys, thank you for that. Thank you for that introduction. Guys, we're going to wrap up the episode with Grasshole of the Week, which is our segment of our show where we choose one person this week who needs to go touch the grass the most. They need to touch grass, connect with nature, log off. Mm-hmm. This podcast is, a little over a year old, and I'm frankly shocked that after nearly 60 episodes, it has taken this long to crown this person the nominee of Grasshole, when this person is a Hall of Fame Grasshole. Mm-hmm. Up there with J.K. Rowling, 50 Cent, and of course, Elon Musk. 50 Cent, if you don't know, if you know, you know. 50 Cent is a terror and needs to get log off. But Grasshole of the Week is Mark Zuckerberg.
Wow. Yeah. And that's a thumbs down.
That's a thumbs down.
Dislike.
First of all, I don't know if we're going to post a picture up here on our YouTube, but Mark Zuckerberg is currently in a fuckboy rebrand, and he's rebranded so hard with his curly fro and long gold chain that people are speculating that he is indeed getting divorced from his long-term Asian wife. It's just,
Mark Zuckerberg is my least favorite Asian fetishist.
I know. Well,
most favorite Asian fetishist, Luigi Mangione.
Wow. Luigi, and that's what listen.
Mark wants what Luigi has so bad, growing the hair out like that.
They all want what Luigi has.
They all want what Luigi has. And guys, I will say this is kind of an update. Like, Luigi is getting the letters that people are sending and replying to them. So he's replying to the letters, and I'm saying this is my fucking prediction. He's gonna be married, whether he's in jail or not. In the next year, he will be married.
Yeah,
he will be married.
A prime candidate.
Well, you guys already did the episode about the influencer who dates the felons. So
yeah,
the inmate.
It's not hard, and they
he could do better than
they
her.
Didn't do.
He could do better than
Usher
Vino. Yeah, bitch. He could do. I'm kidding. Well, he can't fuck famously, so
I'll care for him.
Yeah,
I'll nurse him.
We will nurse him.
I wonder if he can eat.
I'm getting into broth.
You're getting into broth.
I'm getting into broth. We're gonna figure it out, Luigi. Turmeric.
Oh, turmeric broth. Oh, for his spine. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, back to Mark Zuckerberg. So on January 7th, 2025, Mark Zuckerberg donned his curly fro, oversized t-shirt, and gold chain, looking like a white guy from Davie, Florida, circa 2007. If you know, you know. I will say, I don't want to say he looked like my first boyfriend, White Mike, who had gold teeth, but they would be in the same. They would be in the same audition. White Mike, I know, who only dated. He famously said he only dated me because he was like, I had DSL. So the core wound, guys. Core wound.
That'll happen.
No,
that'll happen.
I get that.
You get that.
I get that. You know, I get.
You get that. Okay. Anyway. Well, I'm going to take that out of the video. And Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, God forbid White Mike should hear.
Oh, White Mike is in jail or Walmart. Right now he's in jail or Walmart. That's the only thing. So he announced in a 5-minute video, Mark Zuckerberg, that Meta would be ending its fact-checking program and shifting policies around content moderation. Specifically, this is the quote from the Meta website. Starting in the US, we are ending our third-party fact-checking program and moving to a community notes model. We will allow more speech by lifting restrictions on some topics that are part of mainstream discourse and focusing our enforcement on illegal and high-severity violations. We will take a more personalized approach to political content so that people who want to see more of it on their feeds can. Zuckerberg, who once touted the importance of companies' moderation efforts, echoed that worldview last Tuesday, when he said that times had changed and the new shift would, quote, reduce censorship and, quote, restore free expression. A message that was quickly embraced by some Republican pundits and politicians. two researchers who have both studied moderation efforts and platforms, it's the most recent move towards a freewheeling, unbridled social media environment where what's real and what isn't will become blurred. Along with getting rid of fact checkers, Meta will remove restrictions around topics that have fueled recent political culture wars, including immigration, issues around trans people and gender. Announcing the policies on Fox News, Meta Chief Global Affairs Officer Joel Kaplan said the company had been too restrictive. A close reading of the updated policies reveals that Meta's now explicitly allows users to call each other mentally ill based on their gender identity or sexual orientation, among other changes. So I went on, and this is the timeline that GLAAD provided, because GLAAD made a whole fucking statement about the thing. And last week, these were the timelines of Meta's anti-LGBTQ actions. On Friday, the New York Times reported that there will no longer be any Meta teams devoted to diversity, equity, and inclusion, goals for hiring women and minorities, nor a diversity preference for working with outside minority-owned supplier businesses. On Friday, 404 Media reported that Meta deleted trans and non-binary themes on Messenger. On Thursday, The Intercept and Platformer leaked excerpts from new training models for now allowable content, which include dehumanizing attacks on LGBTQ people and many other marginalized groups. In the material, Meta states that the T slur is no longer a designated slur.
But like specifically that slur.
Yeah.
And examples in the training materials for content moderators include trans people are mentally ill, and a trans person isn't a he or she, it's an it. Like, those are examples of things that like can pass. On Thursday, 404 Media reported that among LGBTQ and ally employees, the changes, quote, have sparked widespread backlash at the company, obviously. So they announced its end of fact-checking programs. So it was really fucking bad last week. So bad that here's the statement from GLAAD, the GLAAD social media safety program. Quote, with these changes, Meta and Mark Zuckerberg are now not only permitting and encouraging, but engaging in anti-LGBTQ hate speech by intentionally employing an anti-LGBTQ language, parentheses transgenderism, in the company's own hate speech policy, and instituting new policies permitting anti-LGBTQ slurs, specifically the T word, said a GLAAD spokesperson. It was even to say, like, they are including like the T, R, A, and N, Y. They're not even putting an asterisk on that. They're just like letting that all in there, like even their training materials. This is a complete break with best practices in content moderation and squarely moved the company into the territory of Truth Social and other extreme right-wing platforms that are unsafe for youth and advertisers. Platforms that encourage anti-LGBTQ hate and violence and other strains of general extremist rhetoric. People asked Donald Trump, like, do you think that he's doing this, like, in response to threats that you've made to Facebook and Meta in the past? And Trump replied, probably.
I do love just when it's like people ask Donald Trump and I'm like, well, whatever happens next is going to be either like the craziest lie you've ever heard or the most succinct. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Researchers and advocacy groups framed Zuckerberg's announcement as a political capitulation to the incoming president, the most recent in a series of changes at Meta that they say reflect a willing submission before Trump takes office. Speaking of submission, Zuckerberg is on the most famous MMA fighters podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. Last Friday, Zuck appeared in that same fuckboy uniform on The Joe Rogan Experience, and again, on the podcast said that it's getting rid of its DEI efforts, and was saying all kinds of shit about how was trying to disprove that conservative accounts were never unfairly censored. He also painted a picture, Zuckerberg painted a picture of the Biden administration officials berating Facebook staff during requests to remove certain content from the social media platforms. Specifically, Mark said, quote, anything that said vaccine had side effects, quote, would get like them in trouble. But in my analysis, right, it's just saying like the government was asking for Facebook to not spread vaccine misinformation because there was very popular misinformation being spread, specifically that if you're around somebody who has who was vaccinated,
Oh yeah, then it'll shed and you can get sick. It's
and
like
you can
crazy.
never have kids. That's like one of the crazy theories. Anyway, on Rogan's show, Zuckerberg said that the administration asked Facebook to remove from its platform a meme that showed actor like Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at a TV screen advertising a class action lawsuit for people who took the COVID vaccine. They're like, no, this is Mark Zuckerberg quote. They're like, no, you have to take that down, Zuckerberg said, adding, quote, we said, no, we're not gonna take down humor and satire. We're not gonna take down things that are true.
What's the humor?
Okay, yeah. So is it humor and satire or is it true?
Yeah, I'm like, what is the humor and satire of that? Of Leonardo DiCaprio posting at the TV saying something about a class action lawsuit?
I guess I'd have to see the meme.
Yeah, maybe we'd see it and we laugh so hard. We're like,
it's the catch me if you can meme, but it's like Leonardo pointing at the TV, and then it's like you're gonna get a class action lawsuit but it's like there is no class action lawsuit, so it's not true,
confusing
and it's not fucking funny.
Also, is this the meeting where he said like workplaces are being feminized? Too?
Yes,
he was like,
yes,
yeah. When
This beta cuck. Okay, the thing that I cannot handle is our whole country being run by beta cucks.
Yeah,
who are fucking cucks.
And not funny ones like you.
No, just pathetic. Excuse you. I'm the cucky.
Yeah. Okay.
You're alpha and you're bulking.
Yeah. Okay, Miss.
I'm not alpha. I'm the one. I'm the wife getting.
Isn't there another designation?
Are you the waifu? Because then Mark Zuckerberg might wanna.
Listen, if Mark Zuckerberg and I cross paths,
you'll beat his ass and he'll like it.
He would be salivating.
Yeah, but you see, and if you want to watch the porn for that, it's banned in Florida.
You have to show your ID in Florida. Isn't there another designation that's like a Sigma?
Yes.
What is a Sigma?
What is a Sigma?
A Sigma's like a lone wolf. It's not like alpha. You're not like alpha because you're not popular.
Oh,
but you do your own.
So a Sigma's like a school shooter?
Yes. No, yes.
And then a beta?
You take power into your own hands in your own way.
Wow. Okay.
My favorite, we are so off topic, but we will get back. But my favorite is that they found an attempted school shooter in Florida, and this guy wrote this whole like crazy ass manifesto. But at the end, he was like, the only thing that can stop me from committing this horrible act is an Asian woman will show me love.
Leave Asian women out of it.
Leave them alone.
Leave us alone. I was thinking about the fucking Asian incel shooter the other day.
Oh, which one? The one, the Santa Barbara guy.
Yeah.
Oh well, he was so pissed that like he should be. Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway,
put a pin in Asian shooter.
Asian incel shooter.
We'll have to bring Jess back for that one. I think. But
we'll bring Jess after Jess has watched the hypnosis guy.
That is, I need to do the formative research before I can come back and speak on this.
Anyway, that Leonardo DiCaprio meme was included in evidence in an amicus brief filed by congressional Republicans in a case that made it to the Supreme Court in 2023. Quote, this is from Mark Zuckerberg. Basically, these people from the Biden administration would call up our team and just scream at them and curse, Zuckerberg told the podcast host and comedian Joe Rogan. It just got to the point where we were like, we're not going to do that. In the case, the amicus brief case, which included Louisiana, Missouri, and several Facebook users who had posts removed or downgraded, sought to bar government officials from communicating with social media companies. The Supreme Court ultimately threw out that lawsuit in a 6-3 ruling, saying in part that there was plenty of evidence of platforms moderating content without government intervention before that. In fact, Amy Coney Barrett was like, basically.
Yeah, better find out what Amy Coney Barrett thinks.
Yeah, exactly. I want to read the book from her Haitian adopted kids.
Oh
one
God.
day. Exactly.
Oh God, I
Exactly.
didn't know that.
You didn't know she had Haitian adopted kids? Well,
No.
there you go.
No.
The thing is that some Republicans are celebrating it, but a lot of Republicans are shitting on Mark Zuckerberg. There was a Fox News segment that I might clip that basically they were like, "Oh, is the Biden administration calling you and cursing, you weak ass?" So it's like
That was my reaction, not to be like a Fox News host, but I was like, oh no, they called you and they yelled at you.
so it's like the people on the right hate him and the people on the left hate because the right doesn't trust him because they feel like
No,
it's
and
not
because
censored,
he
and the
spent
left
the past like 20 years pretending to be this liberal San Francisco guy.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you can't fucking. You're a fucking cuck. And
Yeah.
everybody can tell you're a fucking little nerd that everybody wants to beat up.
Yeah.
That's your whole thing.
And that you're desperate to be cool and be liked. So, I mean, that's what all of this signals to me is like, it's just masks off for like where the culture has shifted because when it was quote unquote cool to be more
Living out.
liberal, to live out and be more liberal leaning and to be standing up to Trump and to be saying blah, blah, blah.
He was just wearing that sequin tiger shirt with his wife the other day.
Yeah, but that was the last ditch effort.
That was the
And
that
then
was the
Esther's like, "You
goodbye.
gotta go, dude."
But now that
Priscilla.
Priscilla.
Why did I say Esther?
Racist.
I'm racist. I'm sorry.
yeah, commenters, let us know why Millie said Esther and what you think. But it is like he's a weather vane type.
We all know
person.
why you said us.
No, I'm sorry. One day we'll talk about how I had a white woman pretend to be Asian to leave me hate comments.
That did happen to Millie once. That's part of Millie's lore. We have to continue
have to
talking about Mark
continue.
Zuckerberg.
Out of it.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
That might be the
but-
title of the episode is just leave Asian women out of it. leave the women alone.
Leave Asian women alone.
Okay. But Mark Zuckerberg is a weather vane. All these guys are weather vanes. They're all trying to lean into it's crazy. They're all trying to lean into like this masculine, like the shirts are so oversized. It's like this chain thing. He's trying to do this thing.
He looks
and it's
pathetic. He looks like pre-Taylor Swift Travis Kelce.
No, he doesn't. Travis Kelce
No,
was
he's
hot.
he's hot.
No, Travis Kelce had the black girlfriend effect, and now he's having the white girlfriend glow down. Now he used to look like a fine ass white #white chocolate, and now he's looking like a fucking sheriff.
I'm seeing how White Mike happened now.
Well, white Mike, he had the Riz. I was sad that he told everyone that he only dated me for DSLs because that was really like I was
Teenage
getting.
boys will say cruel things,
Yeah.
and they're ruling the culture now. That's what.
And
to
they're
get it
ruling
back,
the culture.
to get it back to what we're talking
yeah.
about is like there has been this perceived rightward shift in culture and norms or whatever, and these tech guys are going masks off about it, and it's to the detriment of everybody. It's fucking ridiculous that Facebook is like, we're going less on our content moderation. And I'm like, you started a genocide in Myanmar.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
And also, like, they're like, we want to make it free for everybody. It's like, if you could check like the top 10 posts or something on Facebook at any given moment, and probably for the past like 2 or 3 years, like the top 10 were always like Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, blah blah blah. Like,
No, and they
Right,
just said that they're gonna start releasing AI accounts.
yes.
On Facebook and
There's
Instagram.
already
So
AI
it's just gonna
accounts.
be like all AIs and like your uncle calling each other faggot.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to be transphobic bots talking to each other, and then your uncle every once in a while,
Being like, yeah.
sharing like an AI image of Jesus.
Mhm.
And with crabs. And
Tits.
with tits. And just as a trans person who's probably also mentally ill, how do you feel about
Wow. Wow.
how
Those
do
are
you feel
separate,
about
though.
it? It's
Diagnosis
separate.
has
It's not
come in.
correlation is not causation, okay? But I'm just asking
Millie,
you.
can you prescribe me meds? Because I need.
Listen,
need-
my little Medicaid therapist or psychiatrist forgot to add the extra 5 milligrams of the Lexapro, and it was an issue.
I've been hearing that. I've been hearing that. No, if somebody is saying some shit about me on Facebook, they better be saying this transsexual has ADHD.
Well, so you feel good about the correlation.
Like, somebody tell me what's wrong with me.
Okay.
I need a diagnosis.
Saying that Facebook the AI needs to be better help. And actually, like, if we're gonna get AI accounts calling us mentally ill, then back it up with a prescription.
Exactly. Let's get AI to prescribe me Adderall. Yeah. Then we're talking. Then I will collect my thoughts and answer this question.
Yeah.
You know, and this is kind of like a true criticism of American culture and society, is that the greatest minds of our generation, of our culture, of innovation and thought are not solving society's problems. They're just trying to sell us more shit. And if they leaned into solving society's problems, then just could be called any kind of slur, but also get your prescription too.
I would have the focus to focus on something else.
Yes.
And it wouldn't bother me. It would be water off a duck's back. I would be producting over here.
Yeah, you wouldn't even be able to hear it because you would be so focused on your work and your art.
Making my little... I was going to say I'd be cutting stand-up clips, but I guess I wouldn't post them anywhere.
You post them you got to post them on YouTube Shorts.
On Instagram Reels.
Yeah. So, finally, I'm going to show you guys one video. So, well, people can't help to see, this right-wing shift. Everything that we talked about is all interconnected. The right-wing shift that's happening on Meta is coincidentally coming at a time when obviously Trump isn't president, but also that TikTok is going down, and he's trying to, Mark Zuckerberg is trying to absolve this idea of people that are leaving. But I'm like, isn't TikTok mostly women anyway? Like, it's just anyway. But there's a lot of speculation that Mark is doing this right-wing turn, and also Elon is famously Elon Bezos, and Elon's done like $200 million to Trump. Mark Zuckerberg at least donated at least $1 million.
Yeah.
And Bezos too donated $1 million to Trump's campaign. But it's also that the speculation is that Mark is doing this right-wing shift, all this at the time, so that TikTok can go away and Instagram Reels can take over as the sole kind of social media thing.
Or in hopes that they get to buy.
Or they get to buy. They want to buy TikTok. They've wanted to buy TikTok for a long time.
They want it so bad.
They want it so bad. So to round off this segment, okay, so Mark Zuckerberg's the Grasshole, and we'll talk, we'll tell him to go touch grass in a second. But to round off this segment, I want to shout out at Alana Vizzoni for being a grass hero. We have a Grasshole, which is someone who needs to log off because they did something stupid, and a grass hero who's just really speaking for the people.
And they're posting perfectly.
And they're posting
and they're
perfectly.
using their presence for good.
So let's watch the video and then we can round it out.
The funniest thing about the TikTok ban is that Mark Zuckerberg just like continues to show us how he's like the biggest, fattest loser ever. He's just like a weenie. He's a major weenie. He's like the kid in high school, like the trust fund kid that everyone hates because he's an asshole. And he keeps like bribing people to be friends with him by like having parties at his house and stuff like that. And like no one likes you at the end of the day. Like, let's look at his track record. He stole the idea for Facebook. So the idea was sound. The idea was awesome. He stole it. And within 5 years of it being so awesome and cool, because that idea was not his, under his lead, made it the lamest place ever. Then Instagram comes up, is so fun, so cool. He buys it. Now Instagram is unusable. It's not usable. Instagram is the worst place on the internet. Like, no one wants to be there. It's so lame. It's not positive. It's inauthentic. It's just lame. He did that. It wasn't like that before. It was like that after he bought it. And now he's such a big Weenie Hut Jr. that he has to buy his competition through back doors. He's lobbying, being a little snake loser. And if TikTok does get banned, no one's going to want to hang out with you still, Mark. No one wants to hang out with you. Like, people are like, I'd rather delete Instagram than go over to Reels and TikTok. Like, you are such a loser. Like, what you're doing is so lame. Not to mention the countless businesses that are going to suffer, the countless people that are going to lose jobs in social media, blah, blah, blah. Like, you are the biggest loser in America. Like, you are such a fucking loser.
Let's see, this is the pattern of what is happening right now, is that it's just like the stupidest losers on earth who have a lot of money buying other people's shit and then ruining it.
Yeah, it's
Like,
truly
that's what's
revenge
happening
of the
over and
nerds.
over and over. But they're not nerds. Nerds are smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're not actually like inventing or creating things. That's the thing with the Elon of it all.
He's
is,
a
like,
fucking idiot.
Yeah, he does. He's actually hasn't created anything or whatever. He just uses his money in a way to like fund other companies that have already been doing things, so he can proposition the white female employees to have his children.
We didn't even talk about this Elon playing video games thing,
Oh,
which is
yeah,
that
did you
that's
hear
what
about
the
that?
Yeah,
internet
where he-
discourse I've been on.
Where
Yeah.
he like
Pay somebody.
But
yeah.
it's that he went around saying that he's in the top 10 players of this game, and then he streamed himself playing it, and it was clear that he like didn't know how to play it at all. Like, it's not even like he's not that good. He just didn't know how.
See, I thought you were talking about how he's been caught using his alt accounts again.
No, Adrian
and-
Dittman.
I know
No.
about that too.
No,
Yeah.
no. This is that he's been paying somebody to play
Yeah.
video games on his behalf so that he can have like this, which is also like, then this is the fucking thing. It's like, you know what? You're a fucking businessman. You have all these, and you have fucking 15 kids. If you're not good at a video game, that's fine. You're also 50 fucking years old. I wouldn't expect you to be the best fucking player of
He's
this video
just
game.
fucking stupid. Like,
Yeah.
why would you lie about that? Why would you go on live and then immediately disprove your own lie? You're so stupid. Like,
It's-
it actually
It's
like
not.
makes me insane to
Yeah.
know how stupid
It's
these
not
people
revenge
are.
of the nerds. It's revenge of the losers, like she
Yeah.
was saying. And it's people. I always say that it's like Taylor Swift's core wound is that she was not popular in high school, and she used it to fuel a
Mhm.
pop career
Mhm.
and to become a pop star.
Mhm.
They have the same core wound, but they're using it to tear down the American society and
this is the
democracy in the
difference
world.
between men and women.
Yes.
Well, and I'm also like, they have this huge chip on their shoulder that they didn't fuck in high school or whatever. But I'm like, do you know how bad sex in high school could be?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I'm just
fine.
like, it's fine. Like, it's actually probably good that you didn't have sex in high school.
Fine.
Like, move on. You're in your 50s. You're in your fucking 40s, and you have that stupid fro that's from Istanbul, probably, plugged up. And
I was actually thinking he should pull his bangs back and let us see.
Yeah.
the hairline.
Show us the
No.
hairline.
I thought it
Mark.
was a little long.
Show us your
so-
hairline.
No, he's gotten some. We know he's visited
Yeah.
Turkey.
You turn.
He's gotten a visit from Turkey.
Mhm.
So anyway, Mark Zuckerberg, for the crime of ruining democracy, ruining our 20s, killing all the media companies,
Yeah.
then trying to get TikTok banned. Well, successfully probably getting
Yeah.
TikTok banned, and also for that stupid fucking outfit and haircut. Mark Zuckerberg,
Go
touch grass.
Wow, just an incredible episode with an incredible guest.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell our listeners where they can find you online? Not on TikTok.
Not on TikTok and
Not on
online, not
TikTok.
at the gym.
Not on TikTok. I am on Mark Zuckerberg's Instagram at Just the Kid. That's JES the Kid. On Elon Musk's Twitter at Jestom. That's JESTOM.
Mhm.
And if you exist in real life,
Wow.
I am coming to Boston. I'm breaking a new hour
Wow.
in February. Check my Instagram or Twitter.
So
for that
radical of
information.
you.
Oh, and I'm on
Goodness.
Blue Sky at Just Tom
Yeah.
for all the gay guys and Substack writers listening.
live
Highly recommend seeing Jess live, you
Yeah,
guys.
very
One of the best
radical
we've
of
got
you.
out here.
Radical of you to go to the straightest city in America.
I'm terrified of Boston, but I'm excited to come.
Well, welcome Jess to Boston, all of our
Yes.
Boston listeners. Guys, you can find me on Mark Zuckerberg's Meta at Pandalise. On TikTok at Elise Navidad for as long as we got it, up
Yeah.
until the 20th.
Get her that check.
I'm on Blue Sky, but I've never posted anything there. So
I do have to get that Etsy witch to give me a success spell. 'cause
We
I
do.
did get-
Yeah, I remembered that.
I sorry, I have to
recently.
pull. That was sorry, but
We're
yes.
we're behind on the Etsy witch situation. We will get that, but you can follow this podcast at Go Touch Grass Pod on everything.
Yes, and you can follow me at Millie_Tamaris on Mark Zuckerberg's Meta, and on TikTok for the week that it's
Mhm.
still alive. And you can follow me on Blue Sky at Millie Tamaris and on Twitter at Millie Tamaris. aka lactose intolerant. I feel like that's
Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube.
Follow us on YouTube. Our YouTube's on our link tree. We're there, guys. We need your subscription.
Yeah, especially with everything that we've talked about. And until next time,
Go touch grass.
That was a HeadGum podcast.